Good day. I'm delighted to talk to you today about the journey that one of the police forces took towards greater efficiency and effectiveness using the business process management framework and the SAP BPI suite of tools. My name is Franz and I lead BPM-D, a specialized consultant that focuses on implementing good business process management that's relevant in this very dynamic and digital environment that we live in right now. We're also a key implementation partner for SAP Signavio and the suite of tools that we'll talk about today. BPMD joined forces with the police on their BPM journey, initially assisting with a proof of concept and then guiding the journey of implementing the SAP BPI suite. As with most organizations, the police are in an environment where there is just continual change, and they need to implement their procedures, their policies in an efficient and effective way. The journey started by focusing on those areas that could deliver the most value in the short period of time, and then testing out and implementing different areas. So starting with the transformation of policies and procedures, getting into the whole learning area, which I'll talk about in more detail, and then discovering where you might be able to drive further improvement opportunities, and potentially some of those being in the technological space, further automation. Let me take you through some of those steps in a little bit more detail. The police force is a very multifaceted organization and continually subject to change. We needed to target where the highest impact and lowest maturity, perhaps, areas were that we could focus the pilot and the proof of concept on. And by going through this exercise, we targeted the quick wins where we could create that most value initially. And that was in some of the key functions. Make it very end user focused. So we got the end user involved in identifying where those areas were and how they could perhaps benefit from it and get some clear usage scenarios related to it. It was strategically aligned to where the organization as a whole was progressing. And it allowed us to tailor the SAP Signavio suite to meet those requirements very specifically, and avoided us boiling the ocean in terms of trying to do too much. So we found those functional areas that needed the key focus, and then identified that in terms of usage scenario, we wanted to focus initially on managing compliance, getting everyone doing things in a consistent way, onboarding new recruits. A lot of new people joining the police, and we wanted to be sure that they were all doing it in a consistent way and focused on training, etc. And then on top of this, driving the efficiency and effectiveness using optimization techniques. So having identified where the initial value would be, we started with the first usage scenario, which was transforming the policies and procedures. We took the documentation that was available, which within a police, there are long policy documents and a lot of different ways that the ways of working are captured. And we consolidated those into the one source of the truth, which was a digitized process model that was the framework for capturing the information. And then from that, being able to extract the user procedures, which could be used for anyone, regardless of where they were in the police force. And this method allowed us to standardize across the different areas, effectively creating that one source of the truth, providing rapid access to critical instructions, preventing sort of siloed policing, and that single source of the truth that everyone within the organization could be using. And that journey has now started in one of the areas and was proven to be very, very effective. So having captured the information in a consistent way, the next usage scenario was how was it going to be used? How was it going to make a difference to the daily lives of everyone within the police? And to that end, we used the collaboration hub, which has immense capability to consistently deliver content in a consumable way and then allow for collaborative comments and inputs related to it. And this has a number of benefits. Your officers can comment on the pain points and suggest improvements to drive continuous improvement. There's a high quality and consistency to the information that can be used when onboarding new people. And it guides officers to compliance. It allows everyone to utilize the same set of information, particularly when it continually changes. It's a mechanism for communicating and rolling out changes in a much more effective way. So this was the second usage scenario that we tested and was very effective and seen as being a great addition to the ways of working within the police. So in the proof of concept, the key focus was on those two usage scenarios, how to capture procedural information and then utilize it across the force to make sure that you were driving compliance and efficiency, etc. The next stage in that journey, and we've tested this, was to utilize process mining to drive compliance and to drive further improvement opportunities. Process mining, as you know, takes the event log from systems to reverse engineer and identify how the process is actually running. And this is a very powerful tool to identify across different boroughs and functions how things are actually being executed. And the benefit of this in the pilot was clearly identified as being a way of identifying bottlenecks and inefficient rework and areas of non-compliance. And it found trends across the police and variations by different borough that could effectively be improved and work through and drive some of the transformation program. And it focused the improvement efforts on a fact-based approach to where things were actually not as efficient as they could be, and as opposed to extensive discovery based on interviews and other forms of analysis. So this is a powerful part of where the police might move in the future in terms of making sure that there is compliance and even greater efficiency. Having got the process information into one place and identified where the variances were across the different boroughs, etc., improvement opportunities were possible. And utilizing the tool set, it identified where those potential improvements could be, where there were manual, perhaps time-intensive and costly activities, and that potentially could be automated. And then utilizing the simulation capability to identify, as you can see in the picture on the right, what the cycle time looked like, what the costs were, how much resource was taken up, both in the as-is and the to-be. And this built a data-backed sort of business case for change and reduced the risk of any automation intervention. And automation, as you know, will allow officers to focus on the more valuable sort of citizen-serving work that they do. And this cornerstone, the simulation and improvement cornerstone, is one of the areas that will drive much greater efficiency in the force moving forward. So I've been delighted to take you through the start of what the police journey has looked like as they embark on driving process management improvement, utilizing the BPI suite, and through that gaining much greater consistency, compliance, and efficiency within the police force. It's the start of a journey, and there's much still to do, but I'm sure you'll agree that the indications are that it will deliver great value to them. If you'd like more information, please contact me, or download more content on the website as shown. I wish you all great progress on your process management journey.